let's get right into it. For the longest time, a warehouse was, just a big building to store stuff, but that's not going to cut it anymore. Today, it has to be this super smart, strategic hub for your entire supply chain. And we're going to talk about how you make that happen. Turns out, it all starts with giving your warehouse a brain.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Right now, is your warehouse an asset that's actually pushing your business forward, or is it a liability, a bottleneck that's just holding everything back? Honestly, how you answer that question really gets to the heart of the challenge so many businesses are wrestling with today.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start by looking at the glass ceiling holding old systems back. Then we'll meet the new brain that can smash right through it. We'll dig into the big decisions you have to make, see how this brain powers cool stuff like robots and AI, and finally, we'll bring it all back down to earth and talk about what it really takes to get it done.
All right, first things first. Before we talk about the solution, we've got to understand the problem we're trying to fix. And that's the very real limits of the systems we've been using for years. Think about those older systems, like SAP's original WM module. They were built for a totally different world, a much simpler time. Their whole job was basically to know what was in a specific bin, and that's pretty much it. They were always playing catch-up, always reactive. They could manage inventory, sure, but they weren't orchestrating anything.
And the source material really hits the nail on the head here. These old systems were fine, for simple operations. But the second you throw modern e-commerce and complex global logistics at them, they hit a wall, a hard ceiling. They just weren't built for the world we live in now.
And that brings us to the hero of the story. It's time to meet the new brain, the one designed from the ground up to handle all that modern complexity. SAP Extended Warehouse Management, or as we all know it, EWM.
So what is EWM, really? At its heart, it's the operational brain of your warehouse. And the way it works is by creating this incredibly detailed, real-time digital twin of everything that's happening in the physical world. I mean, everything. Every single pallet, every forklift, every person, every move they make. It's not just keeping a list of what you have. It's building a live, digital model of your entire operation. So what can this brain actually do? Well, it goes way, way beyond just tracking things. It's managing your people. It's predicting the absolute best place to put products before they even arrive. And yeah, it's orchestrating fleets of autonomous robots. And maybe most importantly, that digital twin we talked about, it's constantly generating this massive stream of super high-quality data. And that data, that's the fuel you need for artificial intelligence.
Okay, but getting a warehouse brain isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It means you've got some pretty critical decisions to make about which path you're going to take.
First, let's just be absolutely crystal clear about the shift we're talking about here. On the left, you've got the old world, SAP WM. Basic, rigid, simple inventory. On the right, you have the new world, SAP EWM. It's built on a flexible architecture that is all about orchestrating complex processes and handling crazy high volumes. We're moving from just keeping inventory to commanding your entire operation. And even when you decide on EWM, you've got a big strategic choice to make. Do you go with embedded EWM? It lives right inside your main S/4HANA system. It's simpler, cheaper to run, and it's perfect for a lot of companies. Or, if you're running a massive 24/7, highly automated warehouse, do you need decentralized EWM that runs as its own separate high-performance system? It guarantees your warehouse keeps humming along, even if your main ERP system has to go down for maintenance.
The last big choice is whether to stick with SAP or look at a specialized competitor, like Manhattan WMS. And this is a classic trade-off, right? With EWM, you get that seamless native integration with your SAP ERP. It creates this beautiful, unified data model that's just fantastic for AI. Manhattan, on the other hand, goes super deep with specialization, especially on things like labor optimization algorithms. But you're going to have the headache of integrating two totally different systems.
All right, now for the really cool part. We've been calling EWM the brain, so let's actually look at how it powers the future of automation and intelligence in the warehouse. This is where it gets fun.
So how does EWM actually talk to a robot? It's this beautiful 5-step dance. Step 1, EWM, the brain, decides a pallet needs to move from A to B. Step 2, a special middleware layer translates that business request into a language the robot understands. Step 3, that command gets sent to the robot's boss, the fleet manager. Step 4, the robot zips off, does the job, and reports back, mission accomplished. And finally, Step 5, EWM gets the confirmation and updates the digital twin in real time. It's this perfect closed-loop system. And this
This is where it becomes truly intelligent. See, EWM isn't just giving orders, it's learning. The system is generating this incredibly rich data on every little thing that happens. Then, AI platforms can chew on all that data, find hidden patterns, and build predictive models. And here's the key. Those insights get fed back into EWM so it can make even smarter decisions the next time. It's a continuous learning loop that just keeps getting better.
This quote from the source material just says it all, doesn't it? The whole point isn't just to automate for the sake of it. The goal is to create an operation that gets smarter, faster, and more accurate every single day. That's the real game changer when you connect that EWM brain to an AI engine.
Okay, a self-learning warehouse full of robots sounds amazing. I get it. But to make that a reality, we've got to get real for a minute and talk about the practical stuff, implementation, cost, and what it actually takes to pull this off successfully.
Now, when you start planning for a project like this, the first thing that surprises a lot of people is the cost breakdown. You'd think the software license is the big ticket item, right? Well, look at this. It's only about 20% of the total cost. The biggest piece of the pie, by a long shot, is the implementation services, the experts you need to configure and test and make this whole thing work for your specific business. And to put some real numbers behind it, for a medium-sized company, you're usually looking at an investment somewhere in the range of $1 to $5 million. Yeah, this is a serious strategic project, not just some simple software upgrade you do over a weekend.
So how do you make sure that big investment pays off? Well, it really boils down to these 5 critical things. You absolutely need a champion in the C-suite to clear the path. You have to focus on making your processes better, not just paving over old broken ways of doing things. Your data has to be pristine, because garbage in, garbage out is especially true with AI. You've got to do this in phases to manage the risk. And maybe the most important of all, you have to manage the change and bring your people along for the ride. Which brings us to the single most important point I want you to take away from all of this. SAP EWM is not an IT project. It is a business transformation project. This isn't just a software update. It is the strategic foundation you will build on to create a competitive, intelligent, and future-proof hub for your entire supply chain.
And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. We've seen what this is, what it can do, and what it really takes to get there. So, is your business ready to build its brain?